Why does Snowbreak Containment Zone deserve its success? I have no idea why, because I also don't even know about this game. It's your boy KhunShawn. I'm actually new to the gacha sphere. Not completely new, like I've played gachas. Reverse 1999 is still one of my favorite gacha games of all time. But I decided, let's go ahead and check out this video, and after that, maybe we'll check out its ultimates as well, because I've been ranking ultimates of gacha games. It's been fun jumping into the sphere. A lot of people have been coming to the channel, and it's been nice to see what's going on in the side of mobile gaming. So I've been in the gaming industry for multiple years. I retired not too long ago, and I decided, let's check out some gachas. So why does Snowbreak Containment Zone deserve its success? I'm not sure, but let's find out why in today's video. Shout out to Pseychie for making this video. Let's go.
With lucrative assets and a lot of cultural significance.
Okay, I see why we like gachas.
About half a year ago, I reviewed it in the first volume of the atrocious
7
gacha
out
review
of
series.
10.
Since then, a lot has changed.
Oh, it's a
Not only did it
third-person
make a
shooter?
surprise comeback
Open
from the
world?
brink of being shut down, the amount of influence it's had in recent
gonna get
times
shut down.
is staggering. From having its music featured in the Olympics, to when any
Oh.
gacha game introduces an interactive dormitory mode, it's often referred to going as the Snowbreak route. What did it do to make a counterplay of this degree, and what can we learn from it? My name is Pseychie.
Bro, I am so interested already. Like, this is exactly why I like gachas, because besides them being horny, like, there's something different about them, because in the gaming world, like, to see a third-person open world type of shooter, like, sure, you have stuff like Metal Gear Solid 5, but I want to see, like, what else can these gachas do? I've seen so many different interesting things in the gacha sphere, man. Shout out to Chinese, Korean, Japanese game developers. They always come up with something interesting and fresh.
What did it do to make a counterplay of this degree?
What happened?
What can we
Why
learn
did it,
from it?
Why was it
My
gonna
name
shut
is
down?
Pseychie, and let me tell you about why Snowbreak Containment Zone deserves its success.
Let's talk about it, bro. Pseychie.
Well, I didn't think I'd be logging back into the game after half a year. After being greeted by the returning player event, I wanted to see what's different. Now, if you haven't seen the original review, I suggest watching that before this one, as you may not understand where my original opinions of the game came from and how they may have changed.
Okay.
Back then, I didn't have as much experience playing gacha games, so my opinions were not as informed as now, since I can definitely see some moments where I was too quick to judge it. Addressing the behemoth in the room, Snowbreak has had a huge tone shift since its launch over a year ago. Originally advertised as a post-apocalyptic 3D shooter, now has shifted more into the shameless side. Amazing to see some games went...
Wait, well, hold on. There's a massage minigame? I see why it deserves its success, bro. I've never seen something like this ever.
Clothing? We don't need that around here.
Yeah.
The new version trailers, the premium
that's
cosmetics,
crazy.
and the previews for the character banners all showcase the cultural side of things.
Hey, man, gacha games are winning.
One of the main attractions that arguably put Snowbreak back on the map is the introduction of the animated skins, costing around $20 each. Even for content like this, to the typical gamer, $20 still seems like a high price to pay.
I ain't never seen nothing like this before in my life. Your Honor, I swear I've never seen nothing like this before in my life, Your Honor. I swear, Your Honor. I swear, because I believe this is going to end up in the courtroom somehow, somewhere. And I want to be the first on record to say I ain't never expected this in this video. I swear I didn't. I didn't even know this was a thing.
For a cosmetic item. But here's the thing. When compared to the general
glad it's
gacha
here.
market, the price is actually not that
Okay,
unreasonable.
Genshin. I'm familiar with this
Genshin's
game.
$20 skins do not offer any new voice
They were
lines or
$20?
animations. Nikkei and a few others have a skin gacha, and most of the time it will cost $60.
Gotcha's not it,
Something
bro.
like this was unseen before, and
Pay
before
for the
long,
skin.
some other gachas started implementing similar tactics. $20 for
like
a
to hear
cosmetic
that.
item that adds this much is, well, I probably still wouldn't buy it, but after taking a look at everything else, it does look good in comparison. Snowbreak, despite being released in 2023, still had the advantage of being one of the few that went the 3D route. If I asked you, name 5 3D gacha games in 2023,
Genshin Impact, Honkai Star Rail, PGR, Wuthering Waves, and Snowbreak. There it is.
you
Boom,
might have
let's
some
go.
trouble counting them
Bingo!
with your fingers. Live 2D has been fairly prominent in the industry before that, since they're low weight enough for most phones to run the game smoothly.
Makes sense.
There's always been fan service in gacha games, but nothing quite embraced it fully as its identity. So much so that for the main character, there are marriages that's actually canon.
You can
Still
get
gotta buy
married?
the wedding skins, but getting married for $20 is pretty good value.
Coming from somebody that's been to 2 weddings and both of them was around the 5-figure mark, upper 5-figure, lower 6-figure mark. Yeah, for sure. I can agree. $20 for a wedding is way better.
While you might think that relying on fan service is a cheap tactic, I think there's a bit more than that. Snowbreak found a gap in the market. A high-quality 3D shooter
it can be horny,
that heavily
but is it a good
leans into
game?
the fan service side, and capitalized on it before the huge wave of 3D gacha games coming in 2025, because everyone and their mother had the same idea of going the open world route. At first, the game spelled trouble when they announced the end of the English voice acting. Global is usually the first to get budget cuts, as global gacha fans typically consists of the smallest player base and revenue compared to Asia markets.
Okay.
Not to mention, it seemed like the game was on its last legs when it ran a summer event during the winter, hoping to rein in an extra dose of cash by releasing some swimsuit cosmetics.
Bro.
The shift in the game's vision didn't happen suddenly, but if you go back and watch each version's trailer, you can see Pseychie Games' slow descent into madness.
I see.
Now, the new direction isn't without trouble.
Is crazy.
About a month ago, the game was caught with a wave of censorships. And for whatever reason, the global server was affected too, despite not needing to comply with the same laws in China. The other point of major contention...
Oh, China said change the game? It's too horny? Oh, okay.
was the removal of male logistics officers. The logistics are literally just static PNG files with a bit of lore attached. Pseychie Games decided that it was for the best as an indie studio to replace all male officers with female ones in order to avoid potential drama. The idea is that since Snowbreak is very clearly designed for a male audience, Chinese players feel there should never be a reason for a female player to start the game, fearing that they may spread idea something along the lines of radical feminism and advocate to shift the direction of the game to something the majority of the players do not want.
I did not expect this game, I didn't expect this video to get political.
Now, gender politics is not something
Even
I
though
want
it
to touch
makes
with
sense.
a 10-foot pole. In fact, the reason I make gaming videos is that I don't have to talk about politics.
Sure,
A debacle like
until you
this
have
could
to.
potentially harm player trust and reputation of a game, especially in the Chinese market, but maybe that's a story for another time. In the end, the redesign of the logistics will eliminate any suggestions or notions of romantic interplays or rivalry between the waifus in the game and any male characters that is not the playable protagonist.
But what about the husbandos though? There's a whole market dedicated for that.
What's that? Leo here is a die-hard fan of Fenny? That's a no-no right there. The result was that all servers, even global, were affected by this change. So yeah, now you can enjoy the true harem experience. The rise in popularity and revenue is one thing, but how did the game improve the last time I reviewed it? Well, let's start with the presentation.
Is the game fun?
Events and main story chapters have 3D cutscenes now. Even though the live 2D scenes are not voice acted, the 3D moments do. I was able to go through some of the event story during the last week of the 2.1 patch, and I was pleasantly surprised. Even here, fan service elements feel shoehorned into almost every aspect in the game, except it's fine because of the ridiculousness and the lengths that it goes to fill every frame of your gameplay with booba, ironically makes it feel not out of place at all. It almost reminds me of how Nikkei was originally marketed back when it released. The gacha is the next thing to get a slight revamp. There are now 2 types of banners. The classic 50-50 one with the second rate up guarantee and a base 0.7% drop rate, 80 pity, and the new type where the rate up character is the only SSR in the pool, but the drop rate has been severely gimped to a measly 0.1%.
How many people have spent over, let's be generous and say $10,000. If you have spent over $10,000, I feel bad for you, bro, because they definitely fucking you the most.
With a 100 pity counter.
I hope so.
That's still debating which one is better. Let me just point that any gacha system where you don't have to deal with a 50-50 system is way better in comparison. You always roll this banner. This follows in the footsteps of Punishing Grey Raven, as if the UI didn't follow it already. The reason why the 100% banner is better is because if you look at it, the worst possible scenario for each type of banner is 100 versus 160. I know soft pity exists and that's gonna skew the numbers a little bit. But when you roll a gacha banner, you want the rate up character. You don't care about anything else. Not only does the guaranteed banner have a lower cost ceiling, it also makes your pull plans very easy to calculate.
Yo, that's sick.
With the 0.1% SSR
Did y'all
drop
see
rate,
that?
yes, you're very likely going to be hitting pity almost every time. But since you already know the ceiling, you know that if you save
how much you gotta spend for
of these,
you know how much you gotta spend.
You will guarantee a copy of video.
Oh,
instead of jumping
shit.
through mental gymnastics, calculating how many more crystals you need if you lose the coin flip, and etc.
Understandable.
Look, I got a copy of Vidia 12 hours before the banner was up. MiHoYo used to do this with their older games, specifically Honkai 3, but they've abandoned it since in favor of the coin flip mechanic. I also compared its rates and gacha systems to be eerily similar to Genshin's. But now I don't really have a problem. The point is not to copy how to monetize the game, because they actually did take the time to improve on it. Rerun banners have also gotten an overhaul. 2 rerun candidates are now selectable at a time, which reduces the amount of waiting each player has to do before snagging a copy.
So
2 will be running simultaneously, but you can just choose the one you want.
Choose which one you want.
Again,
Good.
this uses
like this.
PGR's
This is
rerun
really
system
good.
too. It's like they're copying all the good ideas.
It sounds like PGR might be one of the greatest gacha games ever made.
It reduces FOMO, and I think MiHoYo could learn a thing or two. Because over there, it's possible a character doesn't get a rerun in 1.5 years. One thing I want to see further improvements is the weapon system.
Bro, the crazy part is, when I got Eula, I did not want her. So to see that people had to wait a year and a half because they want her, I feel like I should have just sold my Genshin account, to be honest.
You still can't get 4 or 5-star weapons in Snowbreak unless you specifically roll on the weapon banner. I think Withering Waves has a very fair system in this regard. Not only are 4-star weapons able to spook you in the character banners, any standard pulls can be used towards a selectable 5-star weapon. Let's be honest here, you don't want any of the standard characters. You'd rather spend your freebie tokens on weapons
Get
instead.
the best stuff.
Moving on to something else. One of my biggest complaints at the time was the logistics system. You can farm the logistics via one of the farming nodes, but one of the biggest issues is that the game also did event-exclusive logistics sets. These are equipable gear that comes in 3 sets of pop that's tucked away for sale in the events shop. They also have RNG substats, so I thought it made no sense restricting the player from farming them when it's possible that you get unlucky and you're stuck farming them because you just haven't gotten the right substats for your build yet. Except if you're not done by the time the event expires, the set becomes unavailable to farm. At the time, there was no mechanic or rerun event that lets you go back. So when I pulled Karia at the time, I literally just couldn't farm her best in slot logistics set because the patch was over. Well, I'm glad to announce that this problem has been mostly resolved. There is now an additional tab in the materials farming node that allows you to select a limited logistics set, and when you get enough currency, lets you exchange for one of the 3 officers in the squad at random. Sweet fulfillment.
Random.
But here's where they do even one better. Each patch also came with a free purchasable 4-star weapon. Same as the logistics, it would disappear into the ether once the event ended. Now, there is a separate farming mode where you can farm the currency to exchange for a past event weapon that you missed. That's just nice. One other aspect I think the game could have improved on is the variety and events. So I play shooter games from time to time, mainly Helldivers 2 at the moment, but I generally prefer when enemies are not bullet sponges, which probably explains why I couldn't get into Destiny. Anyways, during my original playtime, I felt that there wasn't
Though Destiny is pretty lit, especially with the ultimates.
Enough variation other than shoot enemy until dead goals when it came to activities. There were some game modes like tower defense, and I understand that the non-open world design can limit creativity a little bit, like how you can't really do parkour obstacle courses without coming up with a whole new map. I mean, I'm not discounting that could have been my fault for not properly building out my operatives. I mean, I still don't know how rotations work in this game. But if you enjoy spraying lead all the time, then there wouldn't be any problems for you. There's also a couple new activities for each event cycle, not to mention some light puzzles or parkour sections during story campaigns. I realized that given the smaller scope and budget for the game at the time, it wouldn't be fair to compare it to the massive titles. Scheduling for each event patch has been reduced to 6 weeks instead of every 7. It's worth mentioning that when I first reviewed the game, the gap between patches was still 7, but was changed to 6 literally the next patch after that. 6 weeks does seem to be the norm for a lot of modern gacha games, so no complaints there. So, 6 months later, Snowbreak has changed a lot.
I'm glad, at least in the reverse, it's every month we get an update. That I didn't know people were waiting so long to get updates. That's kind of wild.
Not only did it forge a new cultural identity, the aftermath of the rise in popularity has allowed them to secure a solid foothold in the gacha industry. It's a rare occurrence. Not a lot of these mobile games get a second chance. Now, that's all fun, but I myself probably still won't be playing this game. I'm personally just not really drawn in by the gunplay. Plus, most of the best skins that the game is known for are sold for real money. I mean, if I can't have it, then I don't care. Anyways, that's just a bit of my subjective take on the game. Don't listen to what I say though, because after a losing battle, ultimately, I can safely say, Snowbreak indeed deserves its success. So let me know if this video has somehow convinced you to dive into the degeneracy of the game,
Not
or
really,
what you
but
think
it
as
looked
an
cool.
ongoing player. If you wish to see more gacha-related content like this, you know what to do. Thank you for watching, and as always, have fun out there.
It's really, really cool. Really, really cool. Shout out to Pseychie. Thank you for making this amazing video. So yeah, I've actually been watching this channel to like get a look of course, like a PGR. I wanted to see what PGR was about, so I checked out this video. I wanted to see what these other gacha games were about, like Girl Frontlines 2. So I really do enjoy watching this channel. So this was a really cool video for me to check out. Snowbreak seems fun. It looks cool. I like what I've seen, besides of course the booba and the stuff like that. But I'm interested to see more of the gunplay, more of the combat, more of the gameplay. Like, I'm a gameplay first type of guy. I enjoy story, of course, but I like to see what is the gameplay about, how fun is it. So to see this type of gunplay, I'm interested to check out like its special moves and ultimate. So I might be making that video fairly soon. But I also want to check out some more gachas in general. I think I'll be checking out Grand Blue Fantasy, like to see what they have over there. Like for me personally, it's like I'm looking at the gacha sphere. I'm not really playing it. Like I play Reverse. That's the only one that I play. I do want to play Frontline, the Girls Frontline too, so I'm having my phone upgraded. So tomorrow I can actually start playing the game for myself. But like to overlook all the gacha games and just see, wow, there's so much stuff, bro. There's so much craziness. And like to jump into it head first would be insane. So I'm just like looking at all these games and looking at all the ultimates and like, damn, this looks cool, this looks cool, this looks awesome, this looks great. But at the end of the day, they're gachas, so they're gonna be trying to take my money from me. So I have to be very cautious of which one I decide to personally invest my time and my money in. But from looking at Snowbreak, it does look cool, and I'll probably be checking out its ultimates very soon. So look forward for that video to come out. But until next time, it's your boy KhunShawn. Thank you guys so much for watching this reaction. And thank you so much, Pseychie, for having this amazing breakdown. Snowbreak looks like it came from humble beginnings, and now they're doing some pretty cool and pretty big stuff. But this video was also 10 months ago, so let me know, what are they up to now in the Snowbreak community? I will see you guys when I see you guys. Thank you for watching, and until next time, Johnny.